Take your seat at the table. Take your seat. It doesn't matter who's at the table. You were invited to sit. You are in this room for a reason. When you start thinking, oh, I don't belong here. Oh, I don't feel like I should be here. That's when things come true. You don't belong there. You shouldn't be there then. But when you decide and when you choose to take your seat at the table, when you believe that you belong, that is when the world changes. That is when your life turns out for the better. Freshman year, I had major imposter syndrome. I had imposter syndrome looking around the table and comparing myself, thinking, all these people want to become doctors. All these people want to go to dent school, optometry school. They're so smart. I shouldn't be here. And yet, I somehow also got to the table and said I wanted to do pre-med and child psychiatry. And yet I felt like I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't enough to be at the table. But I was. I didn't need to have validation of my grades, the hours I put in studying, the accolades that I experienced. No, I didn't. Because you got there for a reason. You got into that program, you got that job position, you got that job title for a specific reason. And when you start to kind of think and doubt your own ability, you discredit yourself. Regardless of anything, it's just been ingrained in me that, like, just from listening to all these different podcasts, that like, you are at that table, even if you are the dumbest, even if you might not look the smartest, even if you're especially not even the smartest one in the room, you're still in that room, regardless. And when you realize that you're there too, regardless of someone else's education being from like a prestigious college, like Oxford, or from Harvard, or from literally anywhere, Cambridge. You and that same person are in that same room regardless of prestige, background. And they are also a person too. And you were just a person too. You are not an accolade, you're not an award, you're not a job title, you're not your career. You're not anything but a human being. And when you realize that, that's when you kind of take that intrinsic pressure off yourself. That you realize that you were made for so much more than doing. And you need to understand that as well. So every single year, different people in a program that I'm a part of, it's like a STEM program, they talk to the underclassmen, or like the first years specifically, and they're like things that they would want to know, that they wish they would have known earlier. And that is my one thing. That every single person has imposter syndrome. Like they don't belong, that they shouldn't be there, like they are not worthy enough to be there. And I want to just shake myself and to tell her that regardless of their experiences, regardless of anything that they've been through, how smart they are, how decorated they are, you guys are in the same room, you're breathing the same air, your blood is pumping, your heart is racing at the same time, you're humans and you feel the same experiences. And when you humanize someone, they become a little less scary and a little less daunting. And when you kind of figure that out, when you kind of realize that we're all humans, that we all have fears, that we all have a past, and we all have a future that can change, it's a little bit more liberating. It's a little bit more grounding. And I think it gives you the opportunity and the freedom to live. And when you realize, when you understand, and when you see that in your life, that other person is just another human being who also has struggles too, it's like, whoa, mind-boggling. Because as I've gotten closer with the people in like my grade and biochemistry as well, you just realize they're just people too. That they've also gone through hard things, they've done hard things, they've experienced hard things, just like you and I. And it's like, I saw this one TikTok that was like, and I think it was on Instagram, it was like, even if I might be the dumbest person in the room, I might be the most uneducated person in the room, I might be the dumbest person in the room, but I'm still in the room. I'm still here, I'm still there. And I think once we kind of figured that out, that we're also still there, that's when you're, like I said, that's when everything changes, that's when the world shifts, that's when you see things in such a bigger and broader and brighter picture. And today is my first day of school of senior year. And it went good. And I went to my accounting class, or I went to my macroeconomics class this morning, and there was just a bunch of first years. And then I went to my second class, which was like my senior seminar class in Shell. And then my third class was my other accounting class, and one of my friends was in there, and my other friend's in there too. And then I went to quantum chemistry, and I knew everybody in there, 6 of us, so yeah, it's a very tiny class. And it was good. And then I kind of orchestrated smaller things, and yeah. I feel like I'm just taking today one by one, bit by bit. Because it's strange how 4 years did not fly by. These years have been hard. Probably one of the hardest years of my life. Not to be dramatic, but it definitely has been. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change my major. I wouldn't change anything. Because I am who I am. Because of it. Stronger, better, able to connect different dots. And I think that's the beautiful thing about living, is that you get to experience so much and do so much and learn so much too. Because that's what comes with the hardships and taking your seat at the table. That you take what's dished, good, bad, and ugly, and anything in between. Because you're here. I'm there. You're here, you're there. And scary to think about sitting at a throne of a gourmet dinner, or sometimes a not so good dinner, depending on the day. But I think when you realize that you've earned your spot, you deserve your spot, that your spot was not given by chance, by luck, by anything like that. Because there's always a reason. We might not know it, we might not understand it, but there's always a reason. So don't doubt why you're there. Believe that there is a reason for your presence and just you in general sitting at that table. Food for thought.